You're listening to Season 3, Episode 9.5 of Vixen, a Black Beauty and Pop Culture podcast. If you enjoy what you hear today, please leave a review anywhere you listen to podcasts. Today's episode is a bonus of our previous two-part series, The Instagram Baddie Effect. Now, let's start the show. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Vixen, except today, this one is a mini-sode. So number one, I wasn't ready for the season to end, y'all. Low-key, I'm not ready for the third season to be over. Y'all know next week is the season finale. It's going to be a longer episode, but still, I'm not ready to let it go yet. And then number two, I was looking over my notes from the Instagram Baddie Effect series, and I realized that there was a little bit of stuff that I either, forgot to talk about or it got cut out of the episode. So I figured since you guys liked that series so much, I should do a little bonus and just talk about things a little bit more. The main things that I want to talk about that I really didn't touch on in the two parts are the rise of the Instagram surgeon, the racism behind the Instagram face, and the nerve of that family. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But before we get into the mini-sode, I just want to let you guys know, for all of you guys that are a part of the book club, this month we read Straight from the Source by Kim Osorio. I am not going to be doing an Instagram live meetup for this book. I know it. I know. The reason is I've gotten very behind with Vixen stuff. And right now I just don't have the time to do a live. I think what I'll do next month when we read our next book is we will combine the two lives for both books and we can discuss both books. And I'm actually willing to make that one a 2-hour live. I mean, our lives are usually 2 hours anyway. They're supposed to be 1. But we always end up doing at least 2. I'm down to do a 2.5, 3-hour live if any. I mean, that's super long. But basically what I'm saying is I'm down to stay on live a little longer to talk about both books. If that's what people will want to do. Or I'm trying to figure out a way that we can do a meetup that isn't necessarily on live. If we could do a live chat. I do have a group chat for the book club. I'm thinking maybe I can add everyone who wants to join into the group chat who isn't already on. And then we can just talk about the book there. But this month, I have so much stuff I'm working on for you guys. It's going to be impossible for me to be able to get dressed, sit down, and do a live for this book, which really, really sucks. I don't want to do this, but I think it's the best, just so I can catch back up on everything. Other than that, also, so we haven't done any polls for the Straight from the Source book. I'm going to do a very, very large poll. We might have already done it by the time this episode comes out. I'm pretty sure we probably will have already done it. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do the poll. It'll be a big poll covering the whole book. I have another poll that you guys are going to hear soon, or that you guys are going to see soon, that is based on our finale episode. So we're going to do some fun polls. So make sure you follow on Instagram at the Vixen Memoirs. And I promise, whatever it is, we're going to figure out what we're going to do about Straight from the Source and how we're going to meet up and talk about it. I promise I will make it up to you guys and it won't happen again. Okay? I promise. We ain't doing this. Time just got ahead of your girl. I've been really, really busy with my day job. I've been really busy with Vixen, and I went on vacation, and that just kind of messed the whole operation up. So I'm really sorry about that, and I promise I will make it up to y'all. Okay, so now let's actually get into the episode. As mentioned in part 1 of the Instagram Baddie Effect series, we all know the impact of our beloved Instagram baddies. We all know the impact that they've had on social media. It started off with Black women minding their business, posting bomb photos, and then once they took off and gained followings, brands wanted a piece of the pie, naturally. And they started paying and or sending free clothes or free products in exchange for promotion on their Instagram pages. As usual, white and non-Black women hopped on the wave and joined the ranks, bringing Instagram baddie culture further into the mainstream. This birthed a ton of brands, copycat models, trends, and a whole lot of insecurity for women of all ages. Here are some stats from the American Society of Plastic Surgeons. Americans got over 7 million neurotoxin injections and more than 2.5 million filler injections in 2018. Also in 2018, Americans spent $16.5 billion on cosmetic surgeries. 92% of those were performed on women. So those stats just show you, like, honestly, I'm not surprised at all with the popularization of filler injections, especially. I feel like it's way more casual to get fillers these days. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, and this could just be where I live. I live in Atlanta. I've noticed that you don't necessarily have to always go to a surgeon for fillers. Now, I don't know the law and what the board says, but I'm noticing some people are doing fillers or forms of fillers, like non-surgical fillers, like at like spas and different like beauty centers and stuff like that, which blows my mind. I don't know anything about this stuff, but I have seen a shift towards people just doing it at spas or like with their esty or somebody. I don't know who it is, but it doesn't seem like people are always going to surgeons for this stuff. So I'm really not surprised by the numbers. Another one that I thought was important is 92% of these procedures were performed on women. So it shows that we are so affected by social media, and the cosmetic surgery is really aimed towards women anyway, but I feel like it's probably gotten even worse. So for all of that money to be spent just coming from women, I would love to see a race breakdown of that number, but I couldn't find one. But yeah, that's just crazy that 92% of the $16.5 billion on surgery was women. Wow. So let's get into the Insta surgeon. So we've all seen it. Hundreds, thousands of plastic surgeons have amassed large followings on Instagram, posting real-time procedures on live or on their feeds, and they share a lot of before and after photos. I know this is how a lot of people have found their surgeons. I also know there are forums like Real Self that people go on and they kind of compare and contrast results that they've had, that they've experienced, or that people that they know have experienced, or they just compare what the surgeon posts on social media. I actually feel like that's a good thing in a way and a bad thing. I'll get into the bad later, but I feel like it's a good thing because you can see up front like who is not good and who's not. I mean, because I've seen people be like, oh, I want to go to this person, and then someone else will be like, girl, don't go to him, he botched my cousin, or like whatever. And I feel like because surgeons are so open now, it's easier for you to tell like who doesn't do a good job and who does. And you can get, real life feedback from people. Because before, I think you just went to a place like and looked at their pictures that they were showing, the ones that they feel like they did a good job on, and then maybe you got something good and maybe you didn't. So anyway, so this is all due them making these pages and, getting these large followings. This is all due to the popularization of cosmetic surgeries amongst millennials, which we talked about in part 1 and 2, actually. Cosmetic surgery has just become very, very popular with young people. I mean, I feel like a lot of people really didn't start thinking about it until the big burst of Instagram, the big burst of social media. So we're seeing a lot of people getting surgeries younger and younger. Then we have the promotional deals on surgery. There are Instagram models, men and women, who are getting paid to promote these guys. And that is kind of to me, because I don't know how I feel about people promoting surgery as payment. So I saw that Jada Cheeves took her mom, I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. I saw that she took her mom to a surgery center called Goals. And I saw that when I was doing the research for this episode. And I was just like, what if she doesn't like her mom's work? Or what if her mom doesn't like the work? Like, do you still promote? Like, where I feel like that is kind of unethical, because that is something that's like, that's not something that her mother is going to see the instant. Well, there are instant results when you get a BBL or whatever she got, but like, it's not like they gave her a free waist trainer. You know what I mean? Like, that's a little unethical, because what if once the promotional period is over, God forbid, I hope her mother doesn't have any complications, but what if she did? You get what I'm saying? And then the promotional period is over, so she's not going to post about it, and nobody knows. And then all these people go to Goals for their surgery, and they end up botching other people. Now, I've heard mixed reviews about that place. I looked them up. I saw a lot of bad reviews, and I saw some good ones. I'll give them that. I don't know anything about them, but yeah, I just feel like that might be a little bit too far, but we're gonna get into it. Out of these Instagram surgeons, Dr. Miami is probably the most famous. He was the first one to hop on social media with it. I remember when he first came around, and I thought his work was decent, but now I hear he's botching the girls left and right. Like, and he's not only, from what I've researched, he's not only botching, you know, your everyday regular person who isn't a social media star, he's also botching social media stars. So what is really going on here? Like, is the clout too much? Is he getting sloppy? Like, what is this? Also, are surgeons so thirsty for fame these days that they will do anything for proximity to, you know, social media? Like, what is it? I actually listened to a really good podcast called Real Dr. Six about this. Please listen if you feel inclined to. But basically, it's about this doctor. He does what Dr. Miami does. He posts, you know, his before and after photos, videos of his surgeries. But it goes in depth about some of his patients who say that they felt pressured to be on camera during their surgery, or that he went too far with recording, and, you know, they felt some kind of way. They felt violated about what he did. And I bring that up to raise the question, like, I guess my question is, how far is too far, and where does it become crossing the line? Like, is this ethical? Like what I was saying, like, is this something that we want to see promoted to us? I personally don't want to see anybody get paid for cosmetic surgery. As far as promoting somebody, I don't think that that is right. Like I said in part 1 and 2, I have no problem with cosmetic surgeries at all, but I don't know if that's something that I want to see promoted to me. Like, I'm cool with the flat tummy tea, but like, I don't want you to be like, oh, go to this surgeon because you got it for free, or he paid you to promote him on his page. Like, that just doesn't seem right. When you think about how much research, especially if you look at the forum I mentioned, Real Self, if you ever have a chance to look through it, I suggest you do, because the women, I think there's some men on there too, I'm not sure. The people on that platform, they go hard with research, like very hard. They're thinking of things that it wouldn't have even crossed my mind to think about. So when you know how much work goes into finding a doctor that works for you, and then somebody is just going to promote and get paid off of like somebody offering them a discounted or free service, it's just, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Do y'all think that's crossing the line? Like, and where do we draw the line with with promotional posts? Like, even looking past surgery, cosmetic surgery, like, where do we draw the line with ads? You know, what is it that we don't want to see promoted? Another thing that I saw a lot on social media last year was, I believe it's Clear Blue, the pregnancy test company. I think they do some other health related tests too. But anyway, Clear Blue, almost everybody who announced a pregnancy, like any social media person or actress, whatever, they did a Clear Blue ad as like a announcement. Now, that's their personal body and personal business, but I remember when I first started to see that, and I was like, I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm like, this is kind of too much. Like, I don't really know how I feel about this. Again, you can announce your pregnancy or not announce your pregnancy at all, however you choose to handle it, but that was just weird. Like, I don't know. I think we're getting to a place where like it's kind of weird and people get paid to promote absolutely anything. Now, I know I said, I think it was part 2, we were talking about the brands who have been approached by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, for unethical practices and different things that they do. And as social media gets more and more big, things are going to continue to change. So like, maybe there are rules coming into place about promotional posts, but the FTC just hasn't caught up with how fast social media moves yet. But I'm sure that's something that they have to be thinking about down the line. Like, what are we going to like what are we going to say cannot be promoted on social media? Like, do you guys think it's fair to limit what kind of things or police what people can post on their social media? Not what they could post, but what they can promote and get paid for? Or do you guys think that's good? Do you guys think that it creates some kind of, you know, it creates like some kind of code of honesty? At least we know there's like a little bit of a wall of honesty. Like, should promotional posts really be going past like clothing and like beauty stuff? Like, should we be promoting a certain pregnancy test? Should we be promoting a celebrity surgeon? Like, what do you guys think would be the line for that? And what kind of rules with this kind of like new space we're moving into where everything is an ad? Like, what would the rules be for this kind of environment? And like, what kind of punishment should people be facing for not following the rules is basically what I'm asking y'all. So let's move on. Now let's talk a little bit more about the Instagram face. And I know I talked about this. I believe it was part 1 of the Instagram Baddie Effect series. But I didn't touch on it in the way that I wanted to. And I had written down these notes and I totally skipped them when I was recording the episode. My bad, y'all. But anyway, one thing I did want to mention about these, because some people did message me about like the filters and how some of them have been taken off. And I read that as well. I know that the ones that alter your face a lot were supposed to be removed. Like, that's what the articles were saying. But they haven't, because I've seen them. Like, the ones that make you look a certain way, they haven't been completely removed. But so I looked it up and I read the articles about it more thoroughly. And really what Instagram meant when they said that they were going to be removing, and this is a quote, all effects associated with plastic surgery, they meant the ones that mention surgery in the name. Like, 2 of the ones that I saw that were removed, it was one called Fix Me. And then there's one called Plastica. Those 2 were removed off of the platform, but those are not the only ones that give you the quote unquote Instagram face, if you guys understand what I'm saying. So yeah, they said they were going to remove like the ones associated with plastic surgery, but they meant that literally, like the ones that have things related to like changing your looks in their name. And maybe the people who have made Plastica and Fix Me have re-uploaded the filters under a different name, you know, a name that's not going to trigger Instagram's red flag for whatever algorithm they built to catch these kinds of filters. You know, it's only so much a computer can do, and there are hundreds of thousands of filters that have been created. People make new ones probably every hour. So I don't really think there's a way where they would have been able to take off all of them that have extreme effects on people's faces. But I guess that's the best they can do right now, is just the ones that have those kinds of words in their name. So another thing that I did not mention in the other 2 parts is the racial aspect, the racial ambiguity of Instagram face. So the Instagram face, right? I feel like we all probably see it differently, but I feel like y'all know what I mean. Y'all know the face. It's the pinched nose, the full lips, the cat-like eyes, and the dark skin, but not dark enough to be mistaken for a dark-skinned Black woman. But I digress. I feel like we all know what the face is, and it's that face that's like, you can find 20, 30 influencers on your Explore feed, on your Explore page that have that kind of look, right? And they're usually not Black women. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But they have that kind of face that's just like, it's the Instagram face. It's the one you see all the time. Here's a quote from an article in the New Yorker called The Age of Instagram Face, and they're talking to a celebrity makeup artist named Colby Smith. It was as if the algorithmic tendency to flatten everything into a composite of greatest hits had resulted in a beauty ideal that favored white women capable of manufacturing a look of rootless exoticism. Absolutely, Smith said. We're talking an overly tan skin tone, a South Asian influence with the brows and eye shape, an African American influence with the lips, a Caucasian influence with the nose, and a cheek structure that is predominantly Native American and Middle Eastern. So, like I was saying, a lot of the people with this kind of face that you see on social media, a lot of them are non-Black, but I do see some Black women that have either edited their photos or have gotten surgery to have this kind of face. And I thought this was a very interesting quote because it's so true. It really does. That face that's popular on Instagram, it borrows all of the quote unquote greatest hits from every race's facial features. It's the very, very thin nose, the cat shaped eyes, like I said, the big lips, like how Black women have. It's all of that. And I love that they mentioned that it favors white women. When white women look like that on social media, they get so many follows, they get so many likes, so many shares, all of that. People love a white woman that looks a little spicy. We know the face always going viral so easily. Like, even if you just look at like how many people look like clones on social media, this is also affecting Black women because Black women are getting work done to make themselves look like this kind of face. I hate to single anybody out, but when I read this quote, I thought about the singer Summer Walker. Like, what she's done with her nose and other things. And this is not to shame her or surgery shame her at all, but she was one of the first people that I thought about. And it's not her fault. It's not like a bash Summer Walker thing, but it's just like, I feel like we're being affected by that kind of Instagram look very, very heavily. And I think people thought that it was only affecting white women, and it's white women who like look up to Kylie Jenner and want to look like Kylie Jenner and they're running out and getting all this stuff done. No, it's also happening to Black women. And it's affecting Black women because we're seeing it everywhere, and we're seeing this kind of look be pushed up in our algorithm. So it's only natural that somebody would try to take that aesthetic and do that aesthetic on themselves. So what do you guys think overall these filters are doing to us? Like, we already are seeing the plastic surgery, and then we're getting these filters, which the filters are fairly new, right? I feel like the filters have only been on Instagram since like 2019. Like, how do you guys think the filters are affecting us? And also, how do you guys think that do you guys think that social media has changed how much pretty privilege affects you in real life? So I don't know about y'all, but quarantine has done a number on my skin. I'm trying to be outside this summer once I get this vaccine, so I want to be glowing, glistening, all of that. So I was lucky enough to get sent a package of products from Afoco Skin, and I've been using them for about a month now, and I absolutely love their stuff, y'all. So they sent me the Black Soap Foaming Face Wash, the Dream Serum, and I have their Jade Roller set. I have been loving this stuff, y'all. I wash my face with the face wash, I use the Jade Roller, and I use the Dream Serum after just to put some moisture back into my face. Love it. It is so nice, perfect for the summer. You know, in the spring and summer months, you don't want to be using products that are really heavy or strip your skin of a lot of moisture. You want to make sure your face feels nice and clean and then add that moisture back in. And these products are perfect. So not only are the products great, the packaging is beautiful, top tier, 10 out of 10. They have great shipping, great customer service, and it's Black owned, y'all, and it's Black woman owned. Y'all know how we feel about Black women over here, so you know I was hyped to try their products. I want you guys to get a chance to try Afoco Skin as well, so I'm going to give you guys my discount code to get 10% off your purchase. The code is VIXEN10, that's VIXEN10. Go ahead and check out their lovely website, check out their Instagram, check out their reviews, and let them know that the Vixen Podcast sent you. Like, I was thinking about that after the part 2 of the Instagram Baddie effect episode went live, and I'm like, I wonder, like, how is pretty privilege even more prevalent? Say that 3 times fast, y'all. Is pretty privilege even more prevalent now that social media is at the forefront, and being pretty on social media helps so much with getting yourself out there, getting your work out there. And then, I mean, pretty privilege helps in real life too, but is it happening even more because of social media? And pretty privilege helps a lot of people just with their careers based off of social media. I feel like there's always been an importance placed on beauty and looks, but I feel like it's even more now because now everyone's trying to keep up with social media, which moves at lightning speed, and nobody can keep up with that. Like, It's ridiculous. Nobody can keep up with that. But do you guys think that pretty privilege is even more rampant because of social media's popularity? Here's another quote from that New Yorker article from Colby Smith. People are absolutely getting prettier, he said. The world is so visual right now, and it's only getting more visual, and people want to upgrade the way they relate to it. This was an optimistic way of looking at the situation. I told Smith that I couldn't shake the feeling that technology is rewriting our bodies to correspond to its own interests, rearranging our faces according to whatever increases engagement and likes, end quote. I totally agree with that. Like I was saying, nobody can keep up with how fast social media moves. It's in today, it's out tomorrow. I always see people saying, oh, well, like, what are the girls with the BBLs going to do when that goes out of style? And I feel like I hate that because it always comes from men and it just always sounds misogynist. But anyway, in a way, like, I guess they're kind of right because trends change so much. And when it's just clothes and like beauty trends as far as makeup and stuff, it's fine because that stuff you can take off, you can sell, you can get rid of it, you can throw it away. But as far as like altering your looks and your body, that is something completely different. And technology is rewriting the way that people want to look in order to correspond with what is popular online. And that, when you think about the science behind that, and trends have been around for thousands and hundreds of years and are going to continue. But when you think about that and how many permanent changes have been made to the way people look because of social media, that's very scary, because social media is just a clusterfuck of different ideas and different looks. And it just takes one day for something to go viral, catch on, and become a trend. So is this look that we have, the Instagram face, this is the popular look. In 2022, it could be completely different. It could be it could be a new Instagram face that looks nothing like the old one, right? Like, and then what? What happens after that? All right. So, like I said in the intro, I wanted to touch a little bit on the nerve of a certain family. And I know y'all know who I'm talking about. I do not like to give those women any airtime on my platform. I typically refuse to do so, but this was just so rich. It was so rich. And this story happened either the week that part 1 or the week that part 2 came out. It was one of the weeks. And I was already kind of in my head about cosmetic surgeries and Instagram and all that stuff. I was already thinking about it. And then this story comes out that one of the members of that family literally gangbanged on her grandma about a photo that her grandma posted of her that she did not like. First of all, let's get into it. Who goes hard on their grandmother about an unflattering photo? Every photo on my mom's Instagram that I did not send her, that I took of myself, any photo that my mom took of me is probably an unflattering photo, but it's on her Facebook. It's her business, okay? I am her child, right? I don't think anybody's parent is posting these like bomb professional shot, or grandparent is posting these bomb photos of them all the time. Like, it's a running joke amongst millennials and Gen Zers and young people. Our parents post ugly photos of us. Like, that's just it's just what it is. To go this hard to where you're getting the law involved and you're getting lawyers involved to act on your grandmother's behalf to get people to delete a photo of you, is you are sick. You are a sick woman. Period. That is one of the best photos I've seen of that woman in years. Okay. That is one of the best photos I've seen of her in a very long time. Every other photo of her is so edited and so heavily photoshopped. It's just sad. Like, it's very sad to see photos of her. Girl, you look like a normal person in the photo. You look normal. Your body looks realistic. You don't look nuts and you don't look crazy. Like, I didn't understand the vitriol she had for that photo. And I'm only laughing because it's so ridiculous. Now, let me say this. I have a lot of empathy for people who suffer from body dysmorphia. I understand how it might feel for photos to get out of you that you don't like or that you don't want out. But Here's what I have a problem with, and now I'm referring to this particular member of the family's, not her apology post, but like the letter she wrote explaining her actions. If you're that bothered, and I'm gonna say this straight up, if you're that bothered by the bullying and teasing that you've gotten on social media, delete it right now, and you should delete your page right now because you profit off of people who want to look a certain way. How are you going to say that you're bullied by, and she is bullied, people make fun of her looks all the time, but how are you going to get online and say, oh, well, like these y'all bullied me and all of the criticism online? You feed into people's insecurities. You make money off of people's insecurities. You make money off doing the same thing that people do to you to other people, to other unsuspecting people online. If it affects you that much and it's that serious that you got to get lawyers involved, delete your page today. You won't, because you make money off making other women feel insecure. You and your whole family, all of those sisters in that New Yorker article that I quoted earlier, they have a passage in that article. I suggest y'all read it if you haven't. They have a passage where one of the doctors brings up how many people bring in photos of the Kardashians, especially Kim, for their surgeries. It's like they literally refer to her as patient zero. So it's like your family has gotten rich off the backs of people's insecurities, including you as the most unattractive sister. So if I'm supposed to believe that you are doing all of this and you feel this way because the internet has made you, get off the internet, or decide you're not going to promote any images that can make a woman's sense of self warped and a sense of her body warped. Y'all are the reason. When I saw that, because I wasn't going to say anything at all about this, because like I said, I don't like to know anything about that family. I prefer to act like they don't exist. I saw that statement she put out. I was like, I know this heifer did not. Like, that is literally what I said out loud. And because the Baddie series had came out, I was like, this is right up that alley. Your family is directly responsible for the body dysmorphia of a lot of women. Your family is directly responsible for a lot of insecurities of a lot of women. So how dare you gangbang on these people who are reposting this photo, literally the best photo of you in years? How dare you get on there and try to like make yourself the victim? Yes, people make fun of her all the time. I see it. They be saying her daddy ain't her daddy and all the other stuff that they say about her. But you and your family are a direct result of why social media is so toxic. Y'all are one of the main reasons. Y'all profit off of people's insecurities every day. So if you take it so seriously, I challenge you to delete your page, or stop promoting certain products, or stop posting photoshopped videos and photos of yourself. Do that, and then we can talk. When the story broke, I laughed at it. I had no opinion on the photo. I was just like, that was actually a good photo of her, and I went on with my life. I didn't have an opinion on it until that bogus ass statement. I had no opinion at all. But that statement literally gaslights all of her followers and literally the entire general public, because how dare you with what you stand for? And then I think another interesting thing to point out about her statement is never once does she, or I don't believe she did, never once, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, she doesn't say anything about like, you know, body acceptance or body positivity or like, I like my body the way it is. It's just like, I worked hard to get to this point and no one's gonna post an unflattering photo of me. Like, that's not exactly what she said, but that is the tone. And I was just like, girl, you gotta be kidding me. And I mean, also, I guess that's also very sad for her, because it's like the trolling that she's gotten about her looks, she only equates it to, well, I've worked hard to fix it. You know what I mean? And that's not a good message to be sending out to your followers, who are, a lot of them I'm sure are pretty young. So I just, that was just something that I was just like, wow, we are going very far with this BS. We need to find a way to figure this out. And I mean, I don't know, y'all. Like, I feel bad for her because I think she's very sick in the brain. But at the same time, I just feel like, how dare you try to gaslight your followers and make people feel like shit for sharing a photo of you and you're a literal celebrity. And then to double down on harmful talking points, such as like, I used it as motivation or whatever. You know, it's just like, girl, go to hell, period. I don't have anything else to say about it. Just go to hell. I don't like that at all. I can't believe you went hard on your grandma like that. I wish I would do that to my grandma. I never would. She can post whatever she wants of me. Just yikes. It's just a big yikes for me, and it's hard to take that family seriously. Because of just what they profit off of and what they stand for. And I don't get it. But that is all the time that I feel like I should waste on them on this platform. Now let's go back to Black women. Okay, y'all. So last thing I wanted to talk about that I did not mention in part 1 or part 2. I know that the series focused on the Black Instagram baddies of the app, and that was because they are the reason why we see promotional posts and things like that. So I had to start off with the history, but I don't want people to think that because we focused on them that there aren't hundreds and thousands of different subcultures on Instagram of people who are doing the literal exact same thing. I know to many people that might sound really obvious, like, duh, there are influencers of all different kinds of like interests and sectors on Instagram, but I feel like, yeah, most people know that, but I think Black women get the brunt of the negativity about it. We see it on social media a lot, and it's just not accurate. You know what I mean? There are tons of subcultures all over Instagram. They've all profited off of, you know, insecurities. They've all tried to sell different things. They've all, you know, there are people of all groups who have been unethical in some kind of way as a part of different subcultures. So I just wanted to reiterate that because that's just... that was just something that I was seeing a lot, like in on social media, and when I was talking to certain people about those episodes, I feel like people try to blame Black women a lot, and I just wanted to make sure that we all know and understand that it is not only Black women who are profiting from Instagram. And if you feel like they're profiting from your insecurities, they are not the only ones. Women of all types and styles and groups do the exact same thing. There are influencers all over Instagram. I want to share with you guys a quote from Dick Hebridge's book, Subculture, The Meaning of Style. And this is the definition of the term subculture, according to him. A particular set of features of appearance, costume, and adornment that makes its members distinctive enough to be a clear part of a wider culture. End quote. So basically, subculture is just like that kind of middle ground between like your social interests, your cultural interests, or your cultural background, your political interests. Like, it's a lot of things, you know, all put together to create like a subculture, basically. So I only said that because I just really, really wanted to drive home the point that it's not only like your baddies on Instagram. It's not only the Black baddies on Instagram. There's, you know, people that would fit into the Instagram baddie umbrella of all different cultures and races. And then there's a lot of influencers of all types. Like, there are influencers for like, I don't know, woodworking and random stuff like that. Not here to bash Black women for making money on their appearance. We're not here to blame them for anything that has gone wrong with Instagram, anything that is unethical that happens on Instagram. It is not Black women's fault, even though this is an industry that we kind of birthed and created, as we have with many things. It ain't our fault. So I just had to make sure I said that. I know a lot of y'all will probably think like, girl, of course we know that, but y'all, it's a couple people that are just like, and they did this, and you know, like they blame Black, you know how some people are. Some people literally will blame Black women for any and everything. So I had to talk to them real quick. I guess another thing that we can talk about when we're talking about subcultures is how much do you guys think subcultures matter in today's world? Like, okay, subculture in the 60s, like the free love movement, those people were typically fighting for a cause. And there were different things that defined them. It wasn't just like their clothing style, or their beauty habits. It was their beliefs. A lot of them had very, very similar beliefs. It was also like the things that they partook in. Like a lot of them took part in drugs. Like they just had these things that were like definitive of that subculture. Do you guys feel like we still have that kind of subculture thing going on? Or is it now, because people do things for social media, is it simply an aesthetic? Have we reduced subculture to an aesthetic? Or is it still like a real life thing, like how it used to be? Like I feel like subcultures, like the free love movement and hippies and stuff, that was a lifestyle. And to me, a lifestyle is the true definition of a subculture. Whereas now, I feel like we do have some people who represent more of a lifestyle, but I think some people, it's really just like fashion. It's just an aesthetic, like an online aesthetic for them, or just like the way they dress, and they are in these categories because of their outward appearance, but not necessarily because of the lives that they lead, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And I hope you guys understand that question. Like, has subculture been reduced to just aesthetics? Do we only care about aesthetics these days? Is it still a lifestyle, or is it just, this is going to look good on Instagram? Like, where is the difference between that? Oh, also, and then another thing that I wanted to mention in the last ones, but it got cut out, was I know that I mentioned in one of them that I wanted to do an episode on like black market surgeries. So let me know if you guys want that. And then I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about different subcultures or aesthetics. We can call them both, because I feel like they kind of like, the line blurs between them now, that are directly affecting Black women. And I would love to do like a deep dive and try to get to the bottom of some of them. So what are some of the subcultures or aesthetics on Instagram that you guys think are directly targeting Black women? And would you like an episode done on them? So I'll give you guys an example. One of the movements I think that is affecting Black women a lot is the Black women in luxury movement. I actually enjoy that movement. I like that kind of thing. I love beautiful photos. I love to travel, all that stuff. So I like that movement. But I have seen some people raise valid issues with that. That I don't necessarily agree with, but I see why people think like, oh, this could be harmful to Black women because of XYZ. So that is one that I was thinking of, kind of investigating. So this one is another one that I think might be an offshoot of the Black women in luxury thing, but I'm not too sure. So there's a lot of hypergamy happening online. I'm seeing a lot of Black women be encouraged to participate in hypergamy. And I don't know if that is harmful or helpful. That's one that I'm still sorting my feelings out about. Like, I really don't see a problem with, socioeconomic status being a factor when choosing someone to date. But some of the tips and tricks, like I've listened in on some like Clubhouse conversations about this because I've seen it become so popular amongst Black women. I was like, where did this come from? But so I've listened in and I've like heard some tips and I'm like, that's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't want to go too in depth on it because I do want to do an episode on it, but I want to know if you guys want that. Like the hypergamy movement is something that I've seen a lot of Black women participating in. And then I've also seen this other movement about like divesting from men. And I feel like whoever is in charge of that movement is directly targeting Black women. And that movement just seems to be about like, I feel like dating outside of your race is the main thing that they're telling us with that. I don't know if they have a real solution there, but it's like, it's almost like ultra feminist, and that may not even be the right way to describe it, but it's like, it's like extreme feminism. And then there's a lot of like, down talking of Black men that goes on with that. And I feel like the goal is to push Black women to marry outside of their race, but I could be wrong. Like I said, these are all movements that I've just seen pick up steam on social media, that I would like to do a deep dive into and figure out where the hell they came from. But you guys let me know if episodes like that would be interesting to you. Let me know of any other movements that you've seen that are kind of targeting Black women on Instagram, or on just social media in general that I can do a deep dive of. This kind of stuff is really, really interesting. I love a little investigative, little journalism piece. So let me know if that's something that y'all would be interested in. Like I said, I wanted to go ahead and just, give a little bonus on the Instagram baddie effect. That was one of my highest rated episodes ever. So thank you guys so much for supporting those episodes. Thank you for supporting Vixen as a whole. I love y'all to death, and I will see y'all next week for the finale. Bye. Thank you for listening to Vixen. If you liked today's episode, don't forget to leave a review. If you have a submission, feel free to email VIXENPODCAST@gmail.com. We'll be back next week with an all new episode.